Okay, I talked to you guys in the chat. I mentioned that my brother is in from South Carolina, formerly of Florida. For those of you, that listen to the chat, at times I talk about him, and it's always positive. And I don't know why, but no, it's very positive. I talked to how he was, pretty instrumental in the Tea Party that emerged. He was very, I think, very involved with Rubio getting elected, and he knows what goes on in politics, and he tries to give me the ins and outs here and there. So he's here. He's just up for the holidays. He's not dressed to impress, but he's here. I'm going to ask him a few questions on who he thinks is going to be the candidate for, to run against Obama, and what he just thinks of the political landscape as we move forward. So Lance, my older brother, only by a few years. You might not look at it by the gray hairs, but still only a few years.
It's a couple grays.
A couple of grays, and he's lives in South Carolina, which is a very historic place, which you've told me about.
Absolutely.
And at this point, everyone's turning towards 2012. People want to know, will Obama get elected? Will he have Joe Biden as his vice president? Is Romney a affordable candidate? Who would he choose if he does get the nod or the nomination? So let's just break it down. First, who do you think is going to be the Republican to go against President Obama in 2012?
Actually, the jury's still out. The press is kind of trying to choose our candidate for us at this point. They're gunning towards Iowa, which is a week away. And the Iowa results will lead to headlines that actually won't affect the election in any way, or the primary season in any way. Probably get a real strong showing by Ron Paul, who once you get past Iowa and you hit New Hampshire, he'll have no traction at that point. Romney should come in a close third, right?
Third?
Yeah, in Iowa. I have a very funny feeling that we're going to get surprised and we're going to see a Rick Perry second place. That's a big call right now because there's not one press release talking about that.
I feel like everyone loved Rick Perry, and then they just listen to him talk at all of the debates, and they're just like, what's coming out of that guy's mouth?
It's hard from a Northeast perspective and the rest of the world perspective to see a Texan who likes to, basically choke on a marble when he talks in front of a camera, kind of like myself.
All right. Look there a little bit.
I'm looking at the camera a little bit. See, he's showing me how to do this. I know how to do this a little bit. But no, Perry's the longest-serving governor in the third largest state in the country. There's a reason for that. Right? He's set up a lot of different things to make that state more competitive, and bring in a lot of business to the state.
It's not just oil that's making the economy run so well in Texas.
Not even close. Actually, the oil is just a piece of it. All right, but oil's always been there. Thanks. What Texas has done, all right, is they've taken the environment and they've made it tax friendly and business friendly. They've lowered the corporate tax to basically zero. The personal income tax is zero. They've become a right-to-work state, right? So they've drawn in a tremendous amount of people, right? And they've also grown their economy at least 10% year over year for the past 6 years in an economy that shrunk or has marginally grown across the country.
So if he was elected and he made that whole thesis over all the states, you think that we would be in a better position moving forward?
I wouldn't put my money on Rick Perry being the nominee. Right, but what I said is he could surprise you in just the Iowa primary, pick up a little bit of traction. In New Hampshire, the second contest, it's going to be a no-brainer. Mitt Romney's got that hands down. But you will be surprised by Newt Gingrich's showing in New Hampshire. All right, he'll be within 10 points of Romney, which when you look at NBC, ABC, or CBS newscasts, they'll say that Romney crushed Newt and the rest of the field. But in Republican politics, to get that close, all right, in a Northeast state, right, will be a major coup for Newt.
So let me ask a question, to everyone, because everyone's wants to really know. And since you're a big Republican backer, you helped get Rubio elected. You obviously don't want to see President Obama in office anymore. We're not a political website. So for you, who do you think would be the best candidate to beat President Obama in 2012?
Of the available field, and I'll say it that way, the best possible candidate to beat Obama would be Romney.
And who would you want to see him run with as a vice president?
If Mitt Romney would get the nomination, he'd have to pick one of two different geographies. One, closest to my heart, would be Marco Rubio, who would add a Hispanic tinge to that ticket, as well as a base of conservative followers, right, which will kind of mediate the flip-flop attitude of Romney. What people don't realize, the average person, they just hear that he was this way on one issue, this way on another issue, but he actually, as a politician, had to deal with a legislature in Massachusetts that was unfriendly. So if you were going to go for something to go to 1 to 10, Whereas if you would let the liberal aspect of the legislature in Massachusetts run, they would have gotten it to a 10. He dragged it down to a 7. Right? That's a big victory for a conservative in a northeastern liberal state.
Well, it seems like a lot of people say that everyone doesn't like Obamacare, and they try and make it like Romney had the same system when Obama took it from him, so they try and stick it to him with that.
On paper, when you look at it, yeah, Romneycare and Obamacare, all right, are similar, completely different in the fact that Obamacare is looking to take over the entire healthcare system, not only of the 50 states, but over all the plans in itself. He ran on the aspect that you'd be able to keep your own health care, right? But the plan in itself and how much power he gave to Catherine Sebelius in the Department of Health, right, to modify it as it goes, right, will make it very unbeneficial for private companies to keep insuring their workers, right? So they will opt out, pay the fines, right, because it'll be a lot less expensive, and then the end game, I believe, if Obama is reelected, in his 3rd year, he will try to convert Obamacare to a single-payer system, because the other one will be unmanageable.
So I think what also everyone has a little frustration with is that you, as a Republican, says the best candidate to potentially beat what President Obama would be Romney. So, you know, with all the politics, like, why can't the base, and why can't he just be the front runner? Why would they pick someone else based, like why Gingrich or Ron Paul or whoever it is? Like, why would the Republicans put someone else that can't beat him just because of the way the system works?
It's not the Republicans. When you say Republicans, you're talking in general. Right now, what they're focused on is primary voters. And primary voters are the people that pay attention a year, year and a half, 2 years out. Right? The general person isn't paying attention right now. He might watch a debate if it shows up on his TV in front of him. Right? He's not like me who looks and sees that there's 9 debates coming up and I have them marked on my iPod, on my calendar. Right. There's a big difference. The only people that pay attention, right, are the people that they're focused on the state. Right now it's Iowa. In a week and a half it'll be New Hampshire. And then in my now new home state, which will be the one that picks the nominee, because historically South Carolina's primary in the last 15 election cycle has picked the nominee, right, without fail. All right, so South Carolina is going to be a huge battle state. They already set up, every candidate has at least 6 offices throughout the state. It's completely not yet commercialized, right? But once New Hampshire is done, every 13 seconds on that TV is going to be another ad, right, from any one of the candidates.
Are you helping with any of them in South Carolina?
I was asked by Newt to help. All right, at this point, I'm not ready to endorse any candidate at this point. All right, for me, I'm brand new to South Carolina, so there's not much I can do. If I was in Florida, I'd be helping, if I had my choice.
Who would you help in Florida?
If I had my choice right now to help, it'd be Newt Gingrich. Right, if my personal choice, right, if I was to be selfish, right, to get the nomination, is I believe the best person to face Obama, debate Obama on the issues, with the concerns, in the most intelligent way would be Newt Gingrich.
Okay, so it's interesting. So you would like Newt Gingrich, but you think Romney would be the best, but we all have no idea who's going to be.
Yeah, the same way if you buy Apple today and you buy it, you want it to go to 500, right? But you know in your heart that it's not going to go to 500. For example, I would love to have Newt Gingrich be the nominee, but I know in my heart he's not the best candidate on a national level to face
Apple
Obama.
Get to 500? It might.
I'm not sure about that. There's a lot of competition that's out there right now, and actually they've kind of paused. The 4S wasn't the biggest disaster as possible. What they're doing is they're kind of sucking everybody in, all right, to buy that 4S, and then all of a sudden they're going to come up with a 4G Apple, iPhone,
5.
And that 4G, whatever they're going to call it, all right. At that point, what's happened, from what I understand with Apple, is that both Verizon and AT&T, right, told Apple about 18 months ago to hold off on a 4G, because once they go to 4G, they're going to suck that bandwidth right out of the sky, all right, and the plans will be just unmanageable. They're still building infrastructure to hold that 4G. So they're letting Android and everything
We'll wait for
else.
that. Let's get to through 410, fill the gap, and then we'll see if 500 is on the horizon.
We'll see.
For
But like I said, if you use your heart versus using your head, all right, in my heart, I'd like to see Newt. Right, in my head, I still think that Romney, unless he falls on his face, all right, is the best and most qualified to beat Obama in November.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
It's fun.
All right, well, that was a little bonus plan for a holiday shortened week from T3 Live. So make sure I will be in tomorrow for the morning call. Have a great night. Keep it light and simple, and let's just keep tacking some money on and end the year on a right note. Scott Rutledge, T3 Live, the recap. See you at the morning call. Have a good night.